Okay, this video is from our textbook, pages from our text, and these are practice problems, and most of these deal with isosceles triangles. And again, going forward, I'm going to either do the evens or the odds, and then if you want full credit, you need to show your work and complete the other half, along with the notes for the halves that I do. So on this one, I'm going to do the odds. So let's see what we got. So for number 7, just turn back on. Let's see, for number 7, they want us to find the measures of DEF, and EFD, and round to the nearest tenth. So let's see how we can do that. Here we have, okay, this distance from F to D is measured along the diagonal, but it's 1, 2, 3 lengths along the diagonal. This is also 3 lengths along the diagonal. So without actually calculating, we can see that those two pieces are congruent to each other, which means that angle E is going to be congruent to angle F, because two sides are congruent, it's an isosceles triangle. And let me see, are they showing us? And they're also showing us that this is a right angle. So this is a right angle. So using triangle sums, we have that this is a 90-degree angle. All these have to add up to 180. But because this is an isosceles triangle, these base angles, this angle at E and this angle at F, have to be congruent to each other. So let's call that X. So each one of these is going to be X degrees. Since they have to be equal, we'll use X. So actually, triangle sums tells us that 90 plus 2 x's must be 180. Take 90 away from both sides. 2 x's is 90. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 45. So each one of these angles must measure 45 degrees. So measure of angle DEF equals the measure of angle EFD, which is equal to 45 degrees. Okay, so there's number 7. Let's look at number 9. Find the measure of angle B, and find the length of AC. So AC, this piece right here, we want to find the length of that, and we want to find the measure of angle B. We want to find the measure of this angle here. So let's see what we got. This is a 60. These are 3's, so these are congruent sides, which means base angles have to be congruent. So if this is 60, this has to be 60, because in an isosceles triangle, the angles that are opposite the congruent sides have to be equal. And altogether, these angles need to add up to 180 degrees. So 60 plus 60 is 120. That leaves the measure of angle B equals 60 degrees. So we got that part. Angle B equals 60. Got that part. Now find the length of AC. Since this is a 60, 60, 60, 90 triangle, it's equiangular, and equiangular triangles are the same as equilateral triangles. It must be that this AC side is also the same as the other two sides. So AC must be 3 meters. And those are the two answers that we need for number 9. Let's look at number 11. Let's move this up. Find the measure of angle Y and WY. See what we got here. So this is a 7 and this is a 7. This triangle is isosceles. Angles that are opposite equal angles are going to be congruent. So the measure of W is going to be equal to the measure of angle Y. And X is a 60. The measure of angle X is a 60. So really, if we did the algebra, let's call it both of these y's, because we don't know what they are. We got 2 y's plus 60 must make 180. Since triangle sums, all these have to be 180. 2y's is going to be 120 if we take 60 away from both sides. And when we divide both sides by 2, we find out that y is equal to 60. So this is really like number 9. This is a 60, 60, 60 triangle, which means it's equiangular. And equiangular is the same as equilateral. That means that this side here must also be congruent to the other two sides, which gives us 7 inches. So wy is equal to 7 inches. And the measure of angle y is equal to 60 degrees. So get number 13. Find the value of x. Okay, here we have an equiangular triangle. Base angles are congruent, which means that the sides opposite those angles have to be congruent. So we have 4x's has to be the same as 40. If x is 10, that's going to make these sides congruent to each other, which they have to be. And we're done. We found the value of x. X is equal to 10 for this one. Okay, next odd one. Number 15. So let's look at number 15. About a yield sign. These two sides are congruent, or marked as congruent. This angle is 4y. This angle here at the bottom, I'm trying to read this. They're telling us it's 60 degrees. So this is a 60. So let's see. So these two sides are marked as congruent. Angles are opposite congruent sides are congruent. So this 4y angle has to be congruent to the 60 angle. Since the 60 is opposite this one double marked side here at the top, and 4y is opposite this double marked side here on the left, 4y must be equal to 60, which means that y must be 15. So we got that. Let's see, what else do we have? Now, if this is a 60, and then this also has to be a 60, we have 120 with these two angles. The third angle has to make the 180 degrees. This angle here must also be a 60. So here we have an equiangular triangle, which means it must be equilateral. So these two sides have to be equal to each other. And we're going to solve for x when 4x plus 2 is equal to 3x plus 9. Take away 3x from both sides. X plus 2 is equal to 9. Take away 2 from both sides. X is equal to 7. See if that works out. This comes out to be 21 plus 9, which is 30. And this comes out to be 28 plus 2, which is 30. So we get x is equal to 7 and y is equal to 15. Okay, so those are the odd ones for this sheet. Your assignment is to basically complete these notes on the odds, and then you need to do the evens and show your work. You can work with somebody on these, or you can do these on your own. But if you want full credit, you need to turn in a complete worked out page.